generations. And now, the power of two restores the one.
We got a bidet! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are talking about the brand new Aquaman movie, The Lost Kingdom. Obviously, I'm here by myself, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler-free section here, but I'm very, very wanting to dive into the spoilers because there's something going on with this movie that I really want to talk to you guys about. So I guess just for some non-spoiler stuff, I did like the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I would say because Sarah and I watched the first movie yesterday, and so I got all caught up, and so I watched this one. I do think that this one felt a little more uh, go go go, which is kind of a little bit of a foreshadow into what I really want to talk about with the spoilers. Um, Probably one of the questions that everybody, well, not everybody, most people will probably have is, we saw an Aquaman trailer where Amber Heard was in it, and then we got a trailer where she was not in it. Is she in it? Is she not? And there was a lot of rumors that were saying that, once the whole Amber Heard Johnny Depp case happened and it concluded, that there was a push for having Amber Heard either removed or minimized in the film. I can tell you that she is in the film quite a bit. She's in it from the get-go, and she's in the film with a good handful of the major points in the movie. So I really don't think that the studio took to heart, the whole backlash slash, unfortunately, cancel culture that a lot of people wanted. But it is what it is, you can't really change it. If most of her stuff was done, like after seeing the movie, if most of her stuff was already done and then they wanted to go back and change it, they would have had to do a lot of reshoots and a lot of extra like post-production stuff to, get the movie tweaked so that it would be ready to go without her. And I really don't think that they wanted to dump more money into it, knowing that they plan to just start fresh with, I forget his name, I can see his face, but the guy that's in charge of the new DC stuff. So James Gunn, that's his name. They know James Gunn is going to go ahead and, restart this whole DC process with new people. And so they probably just wanted to put the movie out there as it was, see what money they could get back from it, and then try to move on, is my guess. So, yes, Amber Heard is in the movie quite a bit. Let's see, what other things? I don't know. I'm gonna keep this non-spoiler section super short. I'll give you a rating really quick. That way we can just move into the spoilers because, like I said, I really want to talk to you guys about this. So what would I give this movie? I'd probably give this movie a 6 out of 10. I think it was slightly above average. Like I said, it was entertaining. I don't really think it was amazing, but for DC, it was definitely up there. So in my opinion, it's one of my Aquaman himself, the series is some of my favorite stuff from DC as of late, just because I think it's the better quality out of any of the other ones. So uh, that's my take on it. A good 6 out of 10, solid 6 out of 10. But again, just slightly above average. And unfortunately, we all know that this is just going to get tossed aside anyways. But let me talk to you about some spoiler stuff really quick. And basically, the highlight of my uh, spoiler section is this. It's that Hollywood would really like to see uh, David, James, and Jason reported to the principal's office for suspected cheating. If you don't know, those are the first names of the writers. And this movie is strikingly similar to The Rise of Skywalker from Star Wars. Um, I mentioned in the non-spoiler section that this movie like really moved. It didn't really breathe. That was one of the things that The Rise of Skywalker had issues with. But let's talk about the story elements. So the movie opens a little bit like a whole recap of what happened with the first Aquaman movie, and then it, starts to push us in the direction of the new stuff. Aquaman, has a kid now. He's a dad. Um, Hanging out a lot with his own dad too. Living on land and sea at this point. Uh, but Manta, I believe it's Manta. I should double check. I was calling him Mantis in the car, and Sarah corrected me. Manta is basically searching for this lost kingdom. And the reason why is because that lost kingdom has a lot of power and like dark magic power. And they eventually come across it. And when Manta walks into the area where this like bad guy can start talking to him, this is almost exactly the same opening as The Rise of Skywalker. We see, our bad guy from a previous film that, wants some sort of revenge on our hero, going to this darker source of power for, more power so they can go, get revenge. And so when he walks in, same thing with Kylo Ren. The Emperor says, "At last," and then rolls into his monologue. Does the exact same thing here. The bad guy goes, "At last," and then spills the monologue. And not only that, but the idea behind the monologue is the exact same between the two. Um, our bad guy here, I'm trying to see if I can remember his name. I probably won't be able to. Um, uh, Anyway, so this bad guy, Manta, is going up to this dude, and the guy is basically like, go and do this bad stuff for me. And I'll help you do what you need to do to, carry out your evil plan. Like, and I'll give you all this stuff to go help you, just like the Emperor. The Emperor wanted Rey, and he was willing to give Kylo Ren this whole fleet. But then this bad guy from this movie is like, um, I'll give you all these resources to go and hunt down Aquaman as long as you do this for me, because the bad guy also needs Aquaman or at least someone from his bloodline to come back to this evil place and have their blood spilled on this like table thing to set him free. Um, So he goes to go do that. Um, uh, King Cordax, that's his name. I was able to find it. King Cordax is the one that's doing all this evil stuff. That's the Palpatine, so to speak. But then we have this whole thing where there's, the run-in with Mantis, and he takes his squad all the way to Atlantis and is trying to attack the kingdom so that he can, go after Aquaman. Uh, Very similar to, Kylo trying to seek out our heroes from The Rise of Skywalker. But while Manta is doing this, Manta does eventually like blast the heck out of Aquaman's wife, and I thought she was gonna die. Like I thought this was gonna be the way that like Warner Brothers gets rid of her character because of the whole stuff happening outside of the film, but they didn't. She survives. And then now Aquaman wants to go and get revenge on Manta. And supposedly Manta has been mining like this super weapon stuff that King Kordax is supposed to be giving him. So they have like their own little uh, creepy hideout area. And so Aquaman goes and gets his brother bails him out of prison, because the first movie, they sent him to exile prison slash stuff. And so he goes to get him, and then they go on this adventure to try to go and take care of Manta. The reason why Aquaman wanted his brother is because he worked with Manta before, and he's probably the one that would be best suited to, try to fight him, might know his weaknesses and stuff. So the family does have some, issues there where they're like, hey, he betrayed us before. Why would we help him again? Why would he actually help us? Kind of a thing. So we have that family drama throughout the film. But he goes and they go to infiltrate the base, just like Rey and all of our heroes infiltrate the Star Destroyer to go and find, the Sith blade in Kylo Ren's office. Um, so they're going through there, blasting it up, and then eventually they get Manta's attention, and they realize that Manta, has this trident that is this new super weapon for him from King Kordax. And the thing is when you hold this weapon, it basically it's kind of like Lord of the Rings in a way where you get all these things running through your head, and then you realize where it's kind of like when Rey touched the lightsaber, and then we saw all these different shots of things that were going on. I don't really know how to describe that, but again, another callback to Star Wars. I'm gonna do a timeout here though. I could be naive in a way. Like maybe I don't know the story of Aquaman, and maybe that actually happened way before Star Wars with this plot line. But I'm just saying there's a lot of connections here. Anyways, back on track. So he goes there. They find out the evil plan. Uh, they know that eventually Manta is gonna try to um, take out Atlantis with this superpower, and not only that, but also unlock this dude from this prison because um, Aquaman's brother gets a hold of the weapon and is able to see all this stuff that might start happening. And so, he spills it to Aquaman about, what are the consequences if all this stuff happens, and why is that dude locked away? Um, King Orm is his name, the Aquaman's brother. And so basically they gather this idea where, they have to stop him, right? They don't want that dude, to come out from the Lost Kingdom, which was kind of funny because he was like, so and so is from blank, and I was ready to go Exegol because that's basically what it was from The Rise of Skywalker. It's this they literally say, it's like this place that nobody knows about. You mean like the unknown regions for Star Wars? Um, so yeah, so they're trying to go and take care of that. Not only that, but how do they get all this extra information of what Manta is up to? Well, Manta's I would say little grunt or runt, whatever you want to call him, Dr. Stephen Shin. He's realizing that Manta is up to no good and he really wants to try to make a difference. So he starts sending information to the good guys, kind of like General Hux. Am I right? Um, and so Aquaman and all of them get the information. They figure out how to get to the Lost Kingdom, this unknown area. And then they go to try to stop Manta. And eventually, this king that is trying to be reawakened by Manta. And so when they get there, mind you, I forgot to say this because we see it in the previews. Before they go to this place, Manta does attack Aquaman's father's house, sets it on fire, stabs his dad, and says, like, I'm going to leave you alive just long enough so your son can watch you die, kind of a thing. And then steals Aquaman's son. Why? Because the baby is the easier bloodline to take to this place than uh, trying to get Aquaman or any of the adults to go to this place and have their blood spilled on the table. So he was going to sacrifice the baby. So they go to this kingdom, and some trickery happens in the process. Shin switches the baby and a bomb, and so like when Manta is gonna about to put the baby on the table to spill the blood, he actually opens up a bomb and it explodes. But by this time, all the people, like the armies from Atlantis, are heading towards this lost kingdom. Uh, Manta has like this super weapon that's attached to a ship, Star Destroyers, Rise of Skywalker, um, where the super weapon sends out like these waves and it like disturbs the nervous system of people, and so it would like freeze them. And so they have to figure out a way of how to stop that super weapon, of course, as well, uh, which Aquaman does his little thing where he holds the trident and sends out the signals to talk to all the animals of the sea. And then everybody from around the sea appears to help them in this battle. Kind of like when all the people showed up at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Just saying. Let's keep going, because it ain't over yet. So they battle it out, they duke it out, and eventually Aquaman and his brother Orm get to this like throne room of where the king, the bad king, is, and Manta. And so Manta is trying to fight with Aquaman and his brother, trying to get their blood spilled on the table. Aquaman's blood does well. His brother gets a hold of the trident, and the king tries to possess him in a way to because he notices that Orm has a lot of hate still for Aquaman for taking the throne. And so he's trying to get in his mind, trying to turn him against him. But eventually, because they're both embraced, they're trying to be like, let go, let me do my thing. And eventually Orm does let go, and then Aquaman takes the trident and tries to throw it at this king to kill him, but the king stops it. And while the king is like trying to be like, oh, I haven't been out in ages, and like feeling his power and everything, Aquaman takes his trident and throws it, and it like splits through the other trident and explodes. Which is just like the Rise of Skywalker, because uh, the Emperor's own power was used against him to explode him. Uh, Connections, people. Connections. Uh, Basically, everybody gets out alive. Nobody dies. Manta falls down a hole and refuses help from Aquaman to be saved. So maybe, maybe Manta is dead. We're led to believe that this evil king is dead from what Aquaman did, but ultimately, Aquaman's dad never died, and Aquaman's wife never died when they definitely could have in this film. So I don't really think anybody died. Pretty crazy, huh? Everybody survives except for one, maybe two bad guys. And of course, a bunch of grunts, little minion warriors die too. But that's not what we're looking for with this type of thing. The ending of the movie is very uh, spoof-ish to the Marvel films because Aquaman makes the big decision to reveal themselves to the land people, us on Earth, and he's having like a news conference, just like Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man did at the end of Iron Man 1. In that movie, he's like, I'm Tony Stark or whatever, and I'm Iron Man, kind of a thing. And then it rolls into the credits. Same thing happened here. I'm Aquaman, blah blah blah. Rolls into credits. Uh, so they I kind of think they tried to, do a little jab there or something where they were mocking them in a way. Um, but yeah, that's the ending of the film. So I thought the movie was good. I don't want to believe that they intended to copy this other movie, but it is very, very close to Rise of Skywalker because of what happened in the film. It's pretty striking. It was to the point where once I started to pick up that, like, even when I heard the dude talking to Manta and saying things like the Emperor was talking about, and their whole plan was the same thing as Rise of Skywalker, I was like, oh, I bet this is gonna happen, and I bet this is gonna happen. And they did. They played out basically just like the Rise of Skywalker. Um, and it's interesting that they did that because, the Rise of Skywalker got so much backlash on the film about the pacing and, how they ended Star Wars, that I'm surprised they went with such a similar story because, if people didn't like it there, I guess maybe they would like it here. Who knows? Um, Overall, like I said, 6 out of 10 from me, slightly above average, entertaining, but I don't think it was anything uh, amazing. I don't see myself going back to rewatching this film per se, unless somehow a third one comes out, which I don't believe they will. Um, that would be my only reason to go back and rewatch. But if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We do movie discussion videos all the time. Usually Sarah is on here with me talking about things, but I wanted to get this video thing done really quick. We had some things going on. Um, and so I went ahead and did it. Drops a like if you liked the video and drops a comment letting us know what you thought of the film. Maybe now that you heard what I had to say about the film, maybe you see those connections between the Rise of Skywalker and the Lost Kingdom, also known as Exegol. Um, but as always, everybody, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.